Hello, my name is Chris Vody and welcome to another edition of DDPY PCS. Now the title of this video is Consideration for the Positively Unstoppable Challenge, or more specifically, why should I be considered for the challenge? It can often be difficult to understand what everyone's individual contribution is to this great contest. So I want to bring attention to what my personal contributions are. Now, you'll no doubt see a video here that is showing one of my workouts. Now I'm going to start doing this because I got a lot of negative space right here. I'm going to use it to display video of me exercising, doing the DDPY program. Now this particular workout is chair force 3 and 4. I want to start off with being positively unstoppable itself. It's not just a turn of phrase. It's not just the title of a book. It's not just the name of this contest. It is what I embody myself to be. About a year ago, I decided to get into freelance writing. And I studied everything I could about it to make myself prepared for it. And when I finally made a post on some website as a freelance writer, within 48 hours, I had a client. It kind of just hit me, like I had a moment of clarity, like I just woke up. And I was suddenly positive. After so many years of being negative, I was positive. And the thought that occurred to me is that I could become self-sufficient. It was possible. It seems nigh impossible, but I could do it. It's a lot of hard work ahead of me, and every day is dedicated towards that goal. Now my hope is within 2 years that I can do it, although I'm a bit of a realist, and it might take me until I'm 45. Now I'm 38 right now, 39 in June. I'm hoping by 40 or 41 that I can be self-sufficient. So how have I been doing with this workout? Now obviously you can take a look at my account through the app, mad_cat, and I've been doing quite well. I've been doing several exercises a day, not just 1 or 2, but I'm now up to 6 exercises a day. I have a lot of time on my hands, and while I try to work, my body just wants to exercise. It wants to do more and more and more. 3 months ago, I had the body of an 80-year-old man. Now, I feel like maybe I have the body of a 35-year-old. And by the end of this challenge, I'm hoping I feel like I'm 25. So what are the workouts that I do? Every morning I start off with bed flex 1, 2, and 3. I do all 3 of them together as a custom workout. I have found that this actually helps my back a lot. That if I do it, then my back mostly feels okay throughout the whole day. By the end of it, it starts to feel bad again. But I've found that if I don't do it for a day, it hurts for most of the day. Even on my days off, when I'm not doing any other exercises, I'm still doing the bed flex 1, 2, and 3. By the afternoon time, I am doing right now chair force 3 and 4. I do these together as a custom workout because I really love the long durations, and I can't wait to get into some of the higher level things where I'm doing like 40, 50, and 60-minute workouts. Because, you know, even as sore as my body gets and as it feels like it wants to give up, there's just a part of me that wants to keep going. Like, you know, fuck you, pain. Fuck you. I'm going to keep going. You can hurt all you want. That's how I feel. And I know that seems so silly, but it's just like, it feels like it's more of a challenge to keep going. When I can't explain it, but it's just like, I will put myself through pain to become better, to become healthier, to become flexible, and possibly repair my brain. And in the evening time, I am right now doing chair force 5. That's about where my limit takes me. I can't get beyond chair force 5, and I'm happy by that. I'm happy to have a challenge that is hard for me, because now I have something to work towards, getting better at chair force 5. But the one thing about me, and I just posted this on the support group for the challenge, is that I am weeks ahead of where I should be. I'm starting week 8 this week, and I should be on chair force 2, and yet I'm on chair force 5. I'm really ahead of where I should be, and it feels so great. My body just wants more and more and more, and I'm not disappointing it. So let's talk about my diet. Obviously, because I don't really have a whole lot of money, my diet proves to be a challenge. First off, I've decided to reduce my gluten intake. Now, I already didn't really like gluten to begin with. I've just never really liked the texture of bread. I mean, I eat bread when I have to because it's cheap, but honestly, I really don't like it. But even then, I've tried to reduce it even more. Like I just had breakfast this morning, bacon and eggs. And when I cook it, I always cook toast for my mom, and I usually took toast for myself, because I actually do like toast, but I decided to skip it altogether. Just have the bacon and eggs. So I'm trying to find ways to just reduce my intake of it. Another thing that I have done is reduce the amount of processed foods I take. Now, unfortunately, a lot of cheap food is processed food. And if it means staying alive and my diet, I'm going to choose staying alive every time, which means I occasionally have to eat processed food. If I had the money, I would honestly make the choice not to eat processed food again. I'd rather have fresh food. I'd rather cook food than to have processed food. But there are just days where I don't feel like cooking because of my disability. And it's not even that I'm physically tired, but that I'm mentally tired. And I cannot force myself to do something when I really don't feel like doing it. Because then it will make my mental exhaustion even worse. And could even affect me for the next day. So, the processed foods are basically a backup to when I really don't feel like cooking. But I try to cook as often as I can. I've also started to eat even more vegetables. I've always loved vegetables, but now I'm just going to really try to take it up to the next level. I've got fresh vegetables, but I also got frozen vegetables. I'm also eating a lot more quinoa. Now, I haven't completely given up dairy, although I do severely reduce it, but I still have it with my breakfast. I have oatmeal, and I like the creaminess of milk. Yeah, I'm sure I can switch to almond milk or coconut milk or whatever, but truthfully, I just like cow's milk. But I use a little bit of it to cook my breakfast, and then I use a little bit of yogurt. Now, what I used to do is I used to throw brown sugar in there. Not too much, but enough to kind of make it taste a little bit better. I've decided to stop using brown sugar and instead use stevia to try to make it taste better. I haven't found the right combination yet. It still tastes disgusting. They are steel cut oatmeal, though. I've also reduced my intake of soda. I used to drink like 24 cans a week, and now I've gone to like 24 cans every 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, I'm still drinking soda, and I'm probably never going to stop drinking soda, but I do want to reduce how much I'm drinking at any given time. In its place, I am drinking these. Flavored water. These don't appear to be as healthy as they claim, as they want you to believe. I've done a little bit of research, and apparently these things are not that healthy. But compared to a can of soda, is a good compromise, because I don't like drinking water. And a lot of what people will tell you is to mix fresh fruit in with your water. Well, fruit costs money. I don't have a whole lot of money, especially for things that are going to spoil. So I make a compromise and I drink one of these. I drink these as often as I can. But for right now, this is sort of like water, and it's probably much healthier than actual soda. So it's a compromise, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Now the last thing I will say on this is this. Now, DDPY recommends writing down what you eat. And at first I had a problem with this because, well, I can't guarantee that I'm going to eat healthy things. I'm still going to have things that are bad for me because, well, I have to eat. And sometimes bad things is the only thing you can afford. But I've been doing it anyways. And, I'll tell you something. There is a certain satisfaction in doing it. Watching what you eat and even being more conscious of what you eat. So I want to go into how I'm tracking my fitness. Now, of course, I have the app and I'm paying attention to that all the time. I'm really wanting to get into the top 100. And I'm making headway with that. Every day I'm just getting a little bit closer. Now, this picture is pretty much where I live. The black box here is where my house is located. The red line is the path that I'm following. This path is about 1 mile long. Let me first start by saying that I can walk a mile. Walking a mile is not a problem. The problem is that I have a disability that when it gets overstimulated, my brain wants to shut down. These blue marks represent when my brain begins wanting to shut down. And as you can see, I'm getting farther and farther. Now, what's the point of this? I want to see if I can eventually walk a complete mile without my brain wanting to shut down. Now, it's a tall order to fill, and given that I've been dealing with this for 7 years, that's not going to come easy. Now, I do recognize that the more I do DDPY, the more my body will improve, and with my body improving, it's going to be easier to walk. So that is one of the things that I am doing. Now, there are other things that I'm doing to measure myself, such as loading the dishwasher. The problem with unloading it and loading it again is that it's all the bending over. Every time I bend over and come back up, I'm dizzy. It used to be a lot worse, and it's getting a little bit better, but it's still difficult for me to do. I'm not able to do it as often as I like. And generally, after I'm done doing it, I have to take a rest for an hour. It takes me an hour to do it. And before my disability, it only take me 10 minutes to do both tasks together. Now it just takes me an hour. I need a lot of breaks in between there. That's why it takes me so long. I have a lot of difficulty, but I've been noticing since I started DDPY that it's a little bit easier for me. This is not something that I can really track for the contest, but it's something that I'm personally keeping track of. Now, another thing I do is working. I often say that in an 8-hour period, I can work 3 hours because I have to take a lot of breaks. And I'm hoping that as I do DDPY and other activities, that eventually I can do more work in a day. Now, even if I get about 5 minutes extra, that will be a big win for me. 5 minutes means that I get more work done in a day, which means it takes me, less days overall to get it done. It may take months or even years before I see any real positive result, but I am looking at how long I am working for to get things done. Now, I don't keep track of this because then I'd also have to keep track of all the times I take a break, and that's just a lot of work to do because there are just times where I just want to get away from my work as fast as possible and not think about anything else so I can rest up and get back to work. But it is something I'm doing personally. The last thing that I'm checking is actually something I'm doing through the app. I am consistently checking my stats. I give plasma twice a week. Now, when I give plasma, they check for two things: my weight and my blood pressure. And every time they give me those, I update it in the app. Now, I know I don't get extra points for those unless it's been 30 days apart, but I am tracking them. Now, another reason I should be considered for this contest is what I add to the community. Now, there are a lot of people adding to this community, and I'm not really too much different than them, but recently I've been upgraded from being a newbie to being a conversation starter. I make a lot of posts in the groups. I try to be positive and help people out who need help, who feel discouraged when they're not getting the results they need, who need a little shot in the arm to kind of get them moving forward. I will make example of myself and some of the things that I've had to deal with to get to where I am. I do what I can for this community. I love this community. I think it is a wonderful thing. And well beyond the contest, I will still be there helping people out when I can. Because sometimes I need support, but a lot of times other people need support. And as it said in DDP's book, Positively Unstoppable, a quote of Zig Ziglar said, "The best way to get what you want out of life is to help others get what they need." I think that is a very powerful quote. I firmly believe in that. I will definitely try to help other people get what they need to be successful at DDPY. This is my SmackDown. Now, when I was first introduced to SmackDown through the Motivational Mondays, I had this reaction of, this isn't for me. I didn't like the acronym. If it works for you, go for it. Do it. But it didn't work for me. And as DDPY says, make it your own. And so I did. Not only did I make it my own, I made it special. Check out the video SmackDown Special, and that will go into greater detail of what special is. There are 51 of these post-it notes on the wall, and I am constantly adding more. And what these represent are milestones that I set out to complete. Things that are important to me. Not all of them are related to DDPY. Many of them are. You know, I've got my weight loss up there. I got how many months I've been doing DDPY. How many hours a week am I doing workouts. I even have one up there about winning this challenge. The whole idea is that you take these big complex problems and you break them down into smaller ones, which I call milestones. And this is the product of that. I'm not trying to take away from SmackDown. I believe that I've taken the spirit of what SmackDown is and transformed it in a way that works best for me. Now, here is another thing that I do. These are also post-it notes. And these post-it notes are my accomplishments that I've done so far since starting DDPY. So let's go through them. I've done DDPY for 2 hours. I've read my second book and my first book. So second book right there. First book. I did DDPY for a month straight. I'm at 260 pounds. I was initially at 263 pounds when I started. My weight has really fluctuated. Weight loss is a secondary goal for me. It'll be great if I do lose weight, but it's not my main focus. There's a lot of other things I'm more concerned with, but still good that I got to the 260 point. I got to rank 1,000. I'm now in about the 500 to 600 range. And then I've got DDPY 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week, 5 hours a week. I'm currently at 7 hours a week. Those are what I've completed, and I leave those on my wall to just constantly look at that and say, I've made progress. I mean, look at this. I have what? I have 9 completed. As great as this contest is, it's not a main goal for me. Yeah, I have that as a milestone up there, and I really want to win, but everything that I'm doing has nothing to do with this contest. Everything I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it because I want to be better. I want to be healthier and potentially even repair my mind. So maybe I can do more in life. If I make this contest the main goal for everything that I'm doing and I don't win the contest, then what do I have left? Then I'll just want to quit. That is the wrong motivation to have. My motivation is to make myself better. And even if I don't win the contest, even if I don't meet DDP himself, even if I don't get $1 million, at the very least, I will be healthier. And whatever happens with my mind, at least my body will continue on for a very long time. And that is far more important than anything. I will get out of my situation. I don't care how impossible it is. I will put in the work every single day. Maybe I can only do an hour a day. Maybe one day I might be able to do 5 hours. Whatever time I can give, that's what I give. I'm going to write books. I'm going to do courses. I'm going to do more with this channel. But it's the spirit that I have, my dedication, my determination that should put me into consideration for this contest. And I know that DDPY is going to be one of the ingredients to my success. I'm going to be self-sufficient. Sooner or later, it's going to happen, and I have that confidence, and I put that confidence in every single day. DDP says that life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you deal with it. And for the first 6 years of my disability, I lived in the 10%. I tried to live in the 90%, but I never really put everything I had into it. I felt like I did at the time. Now I feel like I'm living in that 90%. There are things in my life I can't control, but what I can control, I'm going to make sure that it's going to be the best version of myself that I can be. Should I win, that's going to really help me out. That's going to help out anyone. But this will make up for what I've had to deal with for the last 7 years. This will give me my life back. Even then, just the chance to shake the hand of DDP, that would be worth all of this. I hope that those who are judging this contest have been inspired by my words and will give me serious consideration for the contest. So, like always,